Hello and welcome to my awesome health journey. I am Brett Dupree and I started this correctly. I am doing great. The purpose of this video, I want to talk about the brain. I haven't talked about brain things in a while. But I think one of the interesting parts of GLP-1's is kind of the effect on the brain. There's this old saying in personal growth and personal development that I learned many years ago is how you do anything is how you do everything. And I think it's based kind of like on the idea that your habits in one area of your life will show up in other areas of your life, will show up in other areas of your life. And one thing I know with working, especially with intuitive eating, which I did, which still do, still need to work on. It's kind of harder with GLP-1s because I think with the change in my brain chemistry to do so in a way because I'm not as hungry. Well, anyway, is because the effect on it. Because one thing that GLP-1s, I'm right now on Monjaro, affects your brain chemistry in a way where it reduces like the food noise, how you think about food and how you want food, and how like I could be eating lunch and be still thinking about dinner, even though that lunch is like full, large stuffed crust pizza, right? I'll still just be thinking about what I'm going to eat for dinner. And that's just what my life was. I know there's this video about food noise that was very frustrating because food noise is a compulsive habit. Food noise is like gambling noise. But in a sense, I think it is similar to gambling noise because there have been all these articles lately about this effect that people take Wegovy, Ozempic, Mounjaro, Saxenda, Zepbound are having like their bad habits, their compulsions start to decrease, like they're drinking, they're gambling, and there's doing research on how the GLP-1 agonist affects the reward center of the brain. And I can say that I think that has affected me as well. As one problem with my life, which I think is related, is yes, I binge eat, but I also binge spend. Trying to get that, rush, if you will. Like, my life sucks. I better do something to make myself feel better now, so I'll spend too much money on something I probably don't need. I remember a long time ago, I'd be like looking around my house. I don't have many things. I just spend all my money on food and experiences, and I'd be like, I spent all this money. I'm broke. I don't even have anything. But so I started a budget. I use You Need a Budget. And I've generally been pretty bad at it. I've rarely kept a budget. I'll keep these habits, but I'd still be working on it. And I started really working on it with my therapist as well as with trying to take some of the things from intuitive eating into spending. But as I was looking at my budget for my yearly budget in January, I was looking at how well I did last year. In June, there was a huge decrease. Before that, it was like I would overspend by like negative $300, negative roughly around negative $300 a month. And then on my every 6 months I'd get like an extra paycheck. That generally became a catch-up paycheck of all my dumb spending. And honestly, I'd be back to where I started when I'd be back about in the same amount of debt. And I wouldn't be able to build off that, and I'll try to start again. Okay, we can do this next time. But right around June, it went down and became like negative 100, positive 100. It just kind of floated a little bit. I still kind of got behind, but instead of behind by like $2,000-$3,000, I was behind by $500. So that's a $2,500 doing better. But my rent also went up $300, and so that's where most of the negative $500 came from, was trying to get my mind about, I have a set spending schedule, but all of a sudden, bam, I had $300 more just gone. And so, yeah. And so basically, if it wasn't for me not doing a really good job of planning for that, which I just didn't do, I would have hit my goal of just being maybe like negative $100 spending more than I had, which is a huge improvement from $3,000. And yeah, I'm just finding it a lot easier to not spend money. I've been eating out less. Part of it's not hungry, but part of it is wanting to be deliberate where I'm working on. Part of it is I just don't feel that desire to go out and spend as much. I don't feel that desire to, oh my God, I feel like crap in my life with this thing that happened. I need to spend a lot of money on a Kickstarter game. That will make me feel better for that moment or whatever. And that desire is so lessened, and it's like my brain doesn't feel that need to constantly reward itself with something. And I think partly therapy, I'm going to give that, partly the therapy, energy work, and the intuitive eating specialty that I've been doing, but I'm probably it's helped as well because not everything's in a vacuum. But one thing that I do think has affected my brain, it's made it easier to do so, is the GLP-1's that I've been taking for my diabetes. So yeah, that's just what I want to talk about because it's interesting how I just feel like calmer in some senses when it comes to dealing with my impulses, right? Because I always felt like I was a very impulsive person who just had to do something and I would have to fight against me doing it. And then probably 50% of the times I'd fail and just end up spending the too much money or getting the food or whatever. And now it's just not the same, right? So yeah, that's what I want to talk about today. I just think it's interesting. So I love you for who you are. You're amazing and you're worthy.